You know what? I just realized I gotta redo everything.
There's no reason that serious academic history should be as dry as it is 99% of the time. That's silly.
How did their hands and their work shape the time and place we are in today? Chilly and windy. Welcome to Galveston Unscripted. One of my favorite things now is getting out of bed, getting some coffee, grabbing my gimbal here, strapping my camera on, and hitting the road, going for a walk, exploring this wonderful city. 45 degrees and windy, had to bundle up. Sun's coming up, let's go explore some history. Just a short walk from my house, we end up on 24th Street, one of the island favorite streets. Historical marker between Avenue M and Avenue N. This section of 24th Street is one of my favorite streets when I'm gonna show off Galveston. Nearly every one of these homes on this street has either been restored or has had no reason to be restored. There's the George Ball House. Homes like this are just, that stained glass, out of this world. Got that sun coming up and just barely kissing the top of this house. Perfect. Here we are on Avenue N, or Ursuline, walking towards 25th Street. 25th Street has taken on quite a few names since the founding of the city of Galveston. Of course, when the city's grid was first laid out, known as 25th Street, in order to make it sound more prestigious, it was eventually named Bath Street, B-A-T-H. After Henry Rosenberg died in 1893, the entire street was renamed Rosenberg Avenue as the Texas Heroes Monument was put in at 25th and Broadway. That's how we know it today, either Rosenberg Avenue or 25th Street. At the corner of 27th Street and Avenue N. Avenue N is also known as Ursuline. Why is it called Ursuline? In between 25th and 27th Street, right here on Avenue N, you will see a school. This school evolved from the Ursuline Convent and Academy, founded in 1847, built for nuns and Catholic education. The original building was just a small wooden building like most buildings here in the 1840s and 50s. Even served a role during the Battle of Galveston in the 1860s. Eventually the building was redesigned and reconstructed into this amazing building that we see here, designed by Galveston architect Nicholas Clayton.
You see all these magnificent buildings. Clayton really left the lasting design of the city.
During the 1900 storm, first-hand accounts describe hundreds or even up to 1,000 people surviving the storm in this building, with a few babies being born within that duration, which I cannot even imagine. To tie it back to our last video, we have the Ursuline Convent carriage step. When you're traveling down 27th Street, it is almost impossible to miss the Garten Verein. Now the Garten Verein isn't just this building. The Garten Verein is this entire park. Garten Verein means garden society or garden club. In the late 1800s, you had a lot of German immigrants moving into Galveston. Germans being pretty close-knit wanted to get together and have a social club of some kind. So this plot of land was purchased and transformed into the Garten Verein, where Germans could get together and socialize. And not only this hall, but within the multiple buildings that were here in this park. Within some of these buildings, they had a bowling alley. This pavilion back here was built for dancing, social events, conventions, get-togethers, parties, you name it, and is still used for all those things today. One notable thing about this park, Galveston, one of the first in Texas to have public utilities and electricity. I've seen through multiple sources that the Garten Verein, one of the first sites in Texas to have electricity, right here. One thing that park there, the Garten Verein or Kempner Park, is known for is birding. It's pretty central on the island and has lots of oak trees. During Feather Fest, you will see tons of birders in Kempner Park with binoculars and cameras, checking out all these rare exotic birds we have traveling through Galveston during the migratory seasons. There's nothing like a sunrise anywhere, but it might as well be in Galveston. People look at me weird because I have this gimbal. Like, what the heck is that thing? I'm gonna take you somewhere a lot of people don't know to even explore. They come down to Galveston and visit. We're gonna go down one of these alleys between 25th and 26th Street. We're gonna explore some of these back buildings. If you look, all these little skinny buildings here, all elevated shotgun homes. These little shotguns here. So even after slavery was completely ceased in Texas and in Galveston in 1865, many residents in Galveston still had domestic servants who were paid for their services. Were they paid fairly? I doubt it. Back in a lot of these homes, known as the carriage house or servant's house, it's exactly what they were. They were either a carriage house or servant's quarters or both. Those are some things I like to show to really tell the full story of Galveston's history. Not only Galveston's history, but that of the United States in general. Social dynamics through the years, through the decades, through the centuries. Who lived in these back buildings? What stories can they tell? Who were their ancestors? How did their hands and their work shape the time and place we are in today? If you ever want to know more about what we're talking about, check out the podcast. We delve into a ton of these topics. All right, guys, I am pretty much back to the house. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something. I really appreciate you. If you haven't yet, go check out my other videos of me exploring Galveston in the best way I know how at the moment, by walking around, taking my camera, checking out the city, street by street, alley by alley, house by house, or go listen to the Galveston Unscripted podcast. Thanks for watching Galveston Unscripted.